Hello everyone, and welcome to the second set of the series. In this series, we're going to cover all the basic kicks, intermediate, and some of the advanced kicks in our system of Hapkido blend. Before we actually start, I want to tell you a little bit of the history of how we look at kicking. For us, for me especially, kicking is only a piece of a puzzle called being a good martial artist. I was brought up in the Korean martial arts, which was strictly all kicks, kicking is everything, and I've kind of educated myself that kicking is only, like I said, a small piece of a puzzle called being a good martial artist, and that has to be to do with range. So I want to be able to fight far away. I want to come to the kicking range. I want to come to the trapping range. I want to come to the punching range. I want to know joint locks, and I want to definitely get to the ground and do grappling. The grappling is one thing that we did not cover in this series, and the reason for that is, one, traditional Hapkido and stuff never had grappling or ground fighting. But, I have chosen to add that to our system, but I didn't want to be the one to talk about it or even teach it because there's so many better people and so many better point of references out there that you can actually get to. I've been fortunate enough to study as far as grappling with the Gracies. And I think their curriculum is one of the best ones out there. I think Horian has done a wonderful job with their curriculum. I've studied with the Machados, which are wonderful, great people. But the one person that really opened my eyes to the art of grappling was Mr. David Myers and John Will from Australia. But David really opened my eyes into what grappling is all about and what it can do and how it can become a game. So again, these are the specific pieces of puzzle to being a complete martial artist. Right? So I want to make sure I acknowledge David for sharing his art with me. Some of the people that really had a lot to do with my the whole idea of kicking was one of my first point of references, of course, was my teacher, Master Sexton, which I owe everything to him. But few people have had incredible influence on my kicking, and one of them was Stuart Kwan, who unfortunately has passed away. But Stuart was one of the first ones when I saw him during the competitions and stuff. His kicks really made me have an experience every time I watched him kick. And so I was unfortunate enough to actually study with him for a while before he passed away. And then another person which was one of the prettiest kicker ever is Master Simon Rhee, who we actually lucky enough to be in the same town. And one of the prettiest kickers there is. And through him, I met another gentleman, Master Hosek Pak, which was a Tang Soo Do master, and which really introduced me to a whole different level of kicking. And I was fortunate enough to demonstrate that in my first Panther series that was developed over 20 years ago. Anyway, so the concept that we're going to talk about today that has to do with kicking and being into the totality of being a good martial artist is what I learned from my teacher, who used to always tell me, get out of your 9 dots, get out of your 9 dots. And that's what the Team Karate Centers, which is my school, what the logo is all about. And you see that TKC logo and you see the boxes. So I want to introduce you to that concept really quick. And what that is I do this often to my students. So imagine if there's 9 dots in the shape of a square. And I challenge my students all the time, and I go, okay, I want you guys to connect all 9 dots together with 4 straight lines without taking the pen off the board. There are no tricks. You don't have to retrace, and And I kind of pre-frame them with the idea of the box, and I ask everybody to do it. And 99% of people can't do that, right? To be able to connect the lines, and because everybody thinks like, well, there's 4. How do I get the center one? And they have many, many different versions of it. Right? So I challenge you at the same time to stop this DVD, actually try to do it yourself. And you see, it's pretty hard to do. But anyway, the answer to that is really a powerful concept. And the only way to truly to connect all the dots together is to get out of the 9 dots and think outside the square, right? So the idea will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this will be number 1, this will be number 2, this will be number 3, and this will be number 4. So again, this is more of a symbol of our system, of our logo, how a man, a woman, and a child can kick out of their square. So whenever you feel yourself that you're trapped or you don't know what to do, get out of your 9 dots. One of the great examples of that is from a Bible story. I think it was a King Solomon, during years and years and years ago, where there was no DNA testing or anything like that. I guess there was 2 women who said that this particular baby is theirs, and no judge could figure out, well, really, which woman does it belong to? All right. So they went through all these people and stuff. Nobody could figure out because both women were insisting that this is their baby. And it got to King Solomon, and the king was, truly a leader who could get out of his 9 dots. Said, "Oh, I can, solve that mystery really quickly." And they're like, "What?" He goes, "Bring the ladies here, bring the baby." And they brought the baby, and he told them, "Great, you guys both say this is your baby, so it's very easy to solve. So bring me a sword." And he asked why. He goes, "Well, I'm going to cut the baby in half, and I'll give one half to this lady and half to this lady." And of course, only the true mother would give up their own child, okay, so they could save the baby, and only the true mother would step forward and say, no, don't do that, it's okay, give it to the other lady. And that's how he found out this was a true mother, right? So to me, that's a perfect example of getting somebody getting out of their 9 dots, right? Because we're so conditioned into our system, taekwondo, hapkido, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, whatever happens to be. But once in a while, you want to be able to break out of this limitation to think outside, right? And I truly think the opportunities and the gifts that come with stepping out of the 9 dots, it's invaluable. So with that, I'll leave you to the experience of all the kicks in our system.